WFSB, this is Eyewitness News NightBEAT.
Good evening. Investigators tonight are moving closer to declaring terrorism as the cause of the TWA crash. A study of the flight recorder tapes has reportedly reduced the already slim chance of mechanical failure down to 5 or 10%. Channel 3's Cathy Moss is in our satellite center now with the very latest on tonight's findings. Cathy?
Abruptly, 11.5 minutes after Flight 800's takeoff. Investigators say everything had been normal up until then, but then at the end of the tape, there was a final sound, a fraction of a second long.
The black boxes, which are really orange for better visibility, are a bit banged up but healthy, according to investigators. On the end of the cockpit recorder tape is a split-second sound. Investigators are now beginning to scrutinize that sound. But Assistant FBI Director Jim Kallstrom says the bomb theory is consistent with the elements so far.
No, there was a catastrophic explosion. It's caused by some sort of a bomb, obviously. We're not further describing where that would be, whether it was carried on or something hit the plane from outside and caused it to explode.
Divers recovered the devices under more than 100 feet of water in the largest concentration of tail section wreckage.
The evidence that would lead me to believe that it was a bomb placed near the cockpit was there was no distress signal.
Retired Colonel John Griffin is a specialist in counterterrorism in Hartford. He believes a bomb made of plastic made it onto Flight 800, no larger than the size of a baseball, placed somehow in the underbelly of the plane.
We have 1960s technology at our airports. We don't have state-of-the-art technology for bomb detection and hazardous device protection at our airports. We have $1 million equipment available from time to time at certain airports, but we have minimum wage people running the equipment.
And so now, as the crucial evidence is scrutinized, investigators have begun comparing the data to that from so-called black boxes in crashes caused by bombs, such as on the explosion of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland.
Now, you may recall 10 people from Connecticut were killed on that Pan Am crash. Meantime, 4 of the 10 Connecticut victims of TWA Flight 800 have been positively identified. They are Luke Besoit of Trumbull, Suzanne Jensen of Greenwich, Ramona Jones of West Hartford, who was buried 2 days ago, and Margot Crickan of Brookfield, who worked at the Montessori School in Washington, Connecticut. Now, the medical examiner has not yet identified the other 6 known Connecticut victims so far. At least 106 victims have been identified. I'm Cathy Moss, live in the Satellite Center. Back to you, Al.
All right, Cathy. Meanwhile, President Clinton tonight has ordered new security measures for all of the nation's airports, including more luggage searches, both by hand and by sophisticated screening devices. There will also be extensive pre-flight inspections of every plane coming into or out of the U.S.
These things will come at some price in terms of delay to passengers, and it's going to be a matter of balancing those issues as to the delay versus the benefit.
I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather wait as long as it takes.
Federal officials say tonight from now on people should come to the airport early with photo IDs and be prepared for delays.
The investigation is far from over in the Florida Everglades, where officials were back on the scene recovering evidence that is just now surfacing in the Valujet crash, including personal items from passengers. Lack of rain and silt settling at the crash site has caused personal items and body remnants to come to the surface now. The items, which include wallets, shirts, and shoes, are being put into evidence bags by detectives. Governor Lawton Child's office was in the area yesterday to survey it in order to set the boundaries for a grave site.
Hartford firefighters just finished knocking down a fire on Sigourney Street tonight. It started on the first floor of a 3-family house, and when firefighters arrived, heavy smoke was already pouring out of the building. It appears everyone inside was able to get out safely, but one firefighter was injured. No word yet on the cause of this blaze. The FBI says a fetus found in the lavatory of a jet at Bradley Airport last October was stillborn. So the mother, who has been identified only as a 20-year-old Midwest woman, will not be prosecuted since no criminal act was committed. Investigators say the stillbirth probably occurred in Atlanta several days before the fetus was discovered by airport workers here.
Other stories making news around Connecticut tonight. A verdict could come tomorrow in the federal trial of 6 reputed members of the Los Solitos gang. Among the 43 federal charges, 4 murders, including the fatal shooting of 7-year-old Marcelina Delgado. The New Haven jury did agree on some charges today and will deliberate again tomorrow toward a final verdict. Another of Connecticut's most wanted deadbeat dads is in custody tonight. 32-year-old Michael Daniels was arraigned in Bridgeport for failing to answer charges that he owes his wife and and kids more than $70,000 in support payments. Police recognized Daniels after stopping him for a traffic violation. Some new developments tonight in the case of Richard Wimler, the mentally retarded man accused of molesting a Manchester girl last month. Today, his caseworker, Winona Gagne, says she warned her superiors repeatedly by memo and phone that Wimler was a danger to the community. Gagne also produced a memo that she wrote back in February warning that Rise, the private agency supervising Wimler, wanted to help buy him sex.
This had been a practice of Rise for years to take our clients to massage parlors and strip shows so that they could have sexual activity with prostitutes.
But the director of Rise denies it, saying if clients ask, they warn them of the illegalities and give advice about safe sex. The DMR stressed today that no state monies are to be used for illegal activities.
Deliberations are underway now in another Whitewater trial. It's the case of two Arkansas bankers accused of diverting their bank's money to advance Bill Clinton's political career when he was running for governor in 1990. Mr. Clinton himself was not charged, but did testify on videotape. Political commentator Joe Klein has been fired by CBS after admitting that he lied about being the anonymous author of Primary Colors, the best-selling book based on a politician resembling Bill Clinton, whom he has covered since the 1992 campaign. Also, Newsweek has told Klein to take time off from his job there as a writer. A 7-year-old Ohio boy got into big trouble today when he, get this, took his mother's car on a joyride. By the time deputies caught up with him, he had struck 4 cars, among them a county sheriff's cruiser, and he ended up crashing into his own home.
Less than a month after the landmark Sheff versus O'Neill ruling, Governor Rowland has formed a task force to begin the process of desegregating city schools. The panel will have 22 members, including legislative leaders and others they choose. Its first meeting must be held by the end of August, with recommendations delivered by January, ready for the next legislative session. The chairman is looking for voluntary solutions.
Many people think we could expand our magnet school program, our inter-district activities in the summer and weekends and after schools. We have a new charter school legislation that could open a lot of doors.
If they don't satisfy the needs that we have and that we think they're getting to the issue of education instead of getting to the issue of trying to upset people, then what we'll do is we'll have meetings around the state.
Now, the governor named one of the members of the Black and Puerto Rican caucus to this panel. House Speaker Thomas Ritter selected lead Sheff attorney John Britton as one of his appointments. Overseas tonight, the U.S. is condemning the coup today in Burundi. The Tutsi-led army has installed its own military ruler who sealed the borders and ordered civilians off the streets. The new leader, Pierre Buyoya, regains the post he lost to a Hutu in the 1993 presidential election. Torrential rains caused serious flooding in France. Nearly 1,000 people have been evacuated in the southeastern part of the country. And in Italy, mudslides forced authorities to close campsites near the Swiss-Italian border. 3 climbers were killed after they were swept away by torrential rains. Palestinian President Yasser Arafat goes to Damascus to try to patch up his differences with Syria's President Hafez Assad. It's Arafat's first visit to Syria in 3 years. Reportedly, he also carried an appeal to Syria from Israel's new Netanyahu government to launch high-level peace talks.
Here at home tonight, the threat of rain did not spoil the fun in New Britain, where the Parks and Recreation Department sponsored Movie Madness, a free event for local residents. Channel 3's Tracy Martinez was there.
The sights and sounds of an outdoor carnival filled the air. The city of New Britain organized Movie Madness, a mini carnival equipped with rides, clowns, and even a petting zoo.
Look at it! This free event was made possible thanks to a state grant given to the New Britain Parks and Recreation Department.
To keep kids off the streets and give them positive alternatives to drugs and alcohol and violence.
With more summertime on their hands, kids of all ages appreciate the effort.
What's your favorite ride?
The slide.
Why?
It's fun. You go bouncing down the whole thing in a circle.
Parents appreciate it too.
I live up the street, and I guess it was canceled last week, and the kids knew it was tonight, and they wanted to take a ride down, so we're here.
So is a giant movie screen.
There's no movie theaters in New Britain, so we're bringing the big screen right here to the park, and they're going to see Free Willy, too.
Parks and Recreation plan on doing it all over again next week. In New Britain, Tracy Martinez, Channel 3 Eyewitness News Night Beat.
Seems like it was a little movie and a lot of madness. Good fun. Still ahead here on the Night Beat. A New Britain baby is burned, and the babysitter has been charged.
Also tonight, the mother's boyfriend has now been charged with murder in the death of a 2-year-old New Haven girl, but police had to look south to get their man. We'll explain.
And we'll show you how rats may be the answer to solving severe spinal problems. Hilton.
All right, Al, Denise, Connecticut's only live Doppler radar shows showers, even some thunderstorms have moved into New England, and looking at the mid-Atlantic states, there's plenty more on the way. What does that have to do with the weekend? We'll let you know how you can make your weekend plans coming up shortly.
Plus, an act of cruelty is followed by an act of kindness. We'll bring you the story a bit later on Eyewitness News.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bernie's.
A New Britain woman has been arrested now in connection with burns on a 7-month-old girl she was babysitting earlier this month. Police say the suspect, 21-year-old Lena Walker, had told doctors the burns on the girl's buttocks were caused by bath water that was too hot. But investigators say the burns more likely came from a gas grill or a stove burner. A man has been arrested in North Carolina as a fugitive from justice in the death of Jaquentus Rogers, his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter, here in Connecticut. The suspect, 22-year-old Gerald Gardner, originally told police Jaquentus had fallen down some stairs. But detectives say Gardner has a prior history of similar trouble.
We know of a case where he was arrested down there for risk of injury to a minor, and he was convicted of that down there.
Gardner's being held in North Carolina tonight in lieu of $500,000 bond, awaiting extradition to Connecticut.
There's word tonight of a major development in spinal cord research. For the first time, there is evidence that spinal cords in animals can be repaired. Just 10 years ago, scientists believed it was impossible to regenerate injured spinal cords. But researchers from Taiwan and Sweden were able to do it with rats. They successfully grew new nerve connections across the gaps of severed spinal cords. All of the 23 rats tested regained some motion and sensation in their hind legs.
I would caution that it is in the rat. The rat has an extraordinary ability to walk with a minimal amount of fibers in its spinal cord. On the other hand, it is a very important finding.
Now, it will be years before the technique could be available for humans, but researchers say it does show that regeneration may be easier than they thought. There may be a link between smoking and sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. Researchers in Britain interviewed 200 couples who had lost a baby to SIDS and found that one of the parents smoked in nearly 9 out of 10 cases. The study finds if parents give up smoking, the number of crib deaths could be cut dramatically from 500 to 200 a year. Doctors say it's also a good idea to put babies to bed on their backs. In Florida, medical technology comes to the rescue of a cat. An act of cruelty left this cat without any hind legs. He was found on Clearwater Beach and taken to an animal shelter to recover. Today, a company called West Coast Brace and Limb donated a new set of legs for the cat.
There's nothing very complicated about it, but the process of trying to come up with what would work was a lot of trial and error. We've got little creped soles on them to give them a little bit better traction. This material is a little bit softer and a little bit better padded.
Now, with the help of a medical adhesive, the cat tried out the slippers. After some adjustments, he'll go home with the man who found him on the beach.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yes.
Well, Hilton is up next with a weekend forecast, and would you believe there are some people in one part of the country actually praying for rain tonight? We'll tell you about it.
Plus, a baby possum that's near and dear to a Manchester woman's heart will share her story.
And we take you inside what's being called the House of the Future, and wait till you hear about the indoor options.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News, voted best newscast by the Associated Press. Get Healthy Connecticut as Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Connecticut and Channel 3 bring you the pictures of health. Are you the picture of health? Take a look around you, because your picture could be worth $250 and more. Send us an original color or black and white photo of your picture of health, and you could be a winner. For a complete set of rules and prizes, call 1-800-641-3101 or stop by your local Stop and Shop pharmacy. Let's get Healthy Connecticut. Join Channel 3 and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Connecticut in the Pictures of Health contest.
Residents in South Texas are asking to bring on the rain. The drought has been in full swing for months, and residents there say there's nothing left to do but pray for it, and that's exactly what they're doing. Dozens of people came together for a non-denominational prayer meeting hoping for rain. The Blanco River is the town's only source of water, and with no rain, they don't expect it to last more than 60 days. Town officials have also started pumping water from a nearby creek to help supplement the water supply. Hilton, no drought problems here.
Not here. I grew up in that part of the country, and every few years they'll have a drought that'll literally bring people to their knees. I don't think this system is going to bring anyone here in southern New England to their knees tonight, but you can see the clouds rolling in as advertised, and with those clouds, showers, some thunderstorms, and a number of showers and thunderstorms to our southwest. So it looks like a rainy night ahead for southern New England. Let's pinpoint some of that activity on live Doppler 3 radar. Connecticut's only live Doppler radar shows that most of the activity this evening has been confined to the northwest hills of Connecticut and the Berkshires and western Massachusetts. It's just about where it was at 6 o'clock this evening, as we've had several showers and thunder showers roll through that area. Here's what's happening right now. 68 degrees both at the Channel 3 New England Weather Service and in New Haven. Those dew points and those temperatures very close, so the air is almost saturated, wringing wet outside. Readings in the upper 60s to near 70 here in southern New England at this hour. Low clouds, showers, drizzle, fog, rain on the horizon, mostly in the northwestern section of Connecticut right now, but it looks like everybody will get their share of rain before this pattern breaks up on Friday. 66 in Cromwell, 66 in West Hartford. Mansfield, 64 degrees on Connecticut shoreline right now, 68 in New Haven. Bridgeport has 68 degrees. In New London, it's 63. This is, by the way, this is a season's latest tropical storm Cesar, rolling along the Colombian coast of South America. There's Puerto Rico right there. Puerto Rico not endangered by this one. Here's what's coming for us. Some showers over southern New England tomorrow morning. Weather front approaching will just stir up more showers during the day on Friday. There is the chance of a passing shower on Saturday, although Saturday will definitely be drier than Friday. And then as we work our way into the weekend, plan on nice weather for Sunday. Here's your forecast in detail for tonight. And revised and updated, we're calling for showers and thunderstorms, mid-60s, some fog possible on the shoreline. And for tomorrow, clouds and showers around, maybe even the rumble of thunder from place to place, readings in the 70s. And tomorrow night, kind of a muggy night, partly clouded with patchy fog, low 60s on Friday night. For Saturday, partly sunny skies, chance of an afternoon shower as a secondary front rolls through, near 80 for highs. Saturday's not a bad day, and Sunday looks absolutely delightful with low 80s, low humidity, and lots of bright sunshine. It's partly cloudy skies on Sunday.
And no signs of a real heat wave in our
None for us, that's right.
Okay, thanks, Hilton.
Most unusual. IBM gave a major boost to the stock market today, topping our Business Beat report tonight. Big Blue's second quarter report shows a 22% decline in profits, but higher than expected gains in sales. That attracted a lot of buyers and pushed the price of IBM stock nearly 12 points higher today. Being one of the key industrial stocks, IBM's advance led the Dow Jones Industrial Average 67 points higher to the 5,422 level. In active trading, IBM was in fact the most heavily traded of all. Architects in Belgium have created the house of the future, where everything is controlled by computer. Among other things, it will keep track of your food stock for you, it'll fill your bathtub for you, and it will even make the bed every day. But it will not print out the money to pay for it. That it will not do.
I wonder how it makes the bed.
I don't know. We might have a demonstration. I want to see that too.
NightBEAT Sports is coming up next. Harvey's highlight of the night shows us a pitcher who makes the luckiest catch in the world.
Plus, Riddick Bowe has his pay cut following his bout that started that riot at Madison Square Garden. Harvey's highlights coming up.
And we'll tell you what the buzz is all about in one Florida neighborhood when we come back.
WFSB and Mitsubishi invite you to celebrate summer in historic Mystic, Connecticut. Settled in the 1650s, Mystic is renowned for its seaport charm and maritime tradition. Come experience the history of America's largest seaport museum. Or enjoy a stroll along the romantic Mystic River, where impressive sailing vessels still remain. And let Mitsubishi take you to this summer surprise in the exciting new Mitsubishi Spider convertible. Don't let summer pass you by.
While the games are being played, I want to remind you that we'll be here for you every day, beginning at 5 and 6 with a complete newscast. And at 11, you'll get a full day's coverage from the most experienced news team in the state. Let NBC worry about Atlanta. We'll cover Connecticut for you and be here as always to keep you informed.
Denise DeCenzo on Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This is Connecticut's news station.
DeGeneres is here and getting into all kinds of trouble. What are you doing?
Nothing. I was just walking around. Nothing.
Next, Oprah.
Join us at 4 right here on Channel 3.
Yeah, they're getting ready for another weekend of racing in Kansas City, but with another breed of competitor. Cute little canines that run their hearts out on some of the shortest legs around. Look at them there. You could call them the Wiener Wonders.
But then again, you wouldn't have to say that.
No, you wouldn't.
Harvey's here now with NightBEAT Sports.
We've got lots of races going on. Yeah. Baseball-wise, Yankees, Red Sox. We're going to start with the Yankees because they're in first place and they took on the cellar-dwelling Royals, so the outcome is obvious, right? Wrong. Kansas City blanks New York 7-0. Hard to believe. Let's go to Yankee Stadium. Rookie lefty Jose Rosado pitched 7 2/3 shutout innings, but catcher Mike Sweeney had his problems. Watch the foul pop up. Goes over and should have had it. Sorry about that. Anyway, Sweeney makes up for it with a base hit right through the hole. That'll score Bip Roberts. Kansas City goes on top 2-0. Then Roberts doubles into the gap, and that makes it 4-zip. The Royals go on to beat the Yankees tonight by a final score of 7-0. Red Sox starter Tim Wakefield was looking for his third straight win, opening a 4-game set with the Twins. But Minnesota pounded the knuckleballer for a 16-6 win. Let's go to the Homer Dome. Boston's Mike Stanley gets the Sox on the board with this solo home run to left field. It's 1-0 in the second. Next inning, Jose Canseco. Boy, he's been hitting lately. He drops a single into right, 2-run score. The Sox go on top 4-0. But the Twins strike for 7 runs in the fourth. This is Scott Stahoviak bashing a 2-run homer to right off of Wakefield. That cuts the Boston lead 4-3. 2 batters later, former Yankee Roberto Kelly puts the knuckleball over the wall and right, and the Twins are ahead for good. They wind up beating Boston 16-6. Remember Riddick Bowe's fight that ended in a riot 2 weeks ago? Sure, how can you forget it? Let's go back to Madison Square Garden when Andrew Galata's low blow gave Bowe the win on a disqualification. A riot ensued when Bowe's cornermen charged at Galata. Well, tonight, the New York State Athletic Commission is holding up $1 million of Bowe's $5 million purse, pending the completion of police investigations into the mess. Look at this. This was ugly. 17 arrests followed that riot in which 8 policemen were injured. The Celtics couldn't find a tougher opponent to open the NBA season, facing the champion Bulls. That'll be November 1st. Mark it down. The Knicks begin with the Raptors in Toronto same night. And Florida Panthers goalie John Van Beesbrook will undergo arthroscopic surgery to repair a small cartilage tear in his right shoulder. He'll miss the upcoming World Cup of Hockey. The Beezer should be healed completely, though, in time. In 2 to 5 weeks, that means he will be ready when the NHL opens training camp in September. Finally, Harvey's highlight of the night takes you to Florida, where Dodgers pitcher Pedro Astacio comes up with the catch of the night. Watch closely. We go to Joe Robbie Stadium. The hot smash back to the box. Astacio somehow makes the catch. Look at it again in slow-mo. He's just trying to protect himself. Reaches out. It almost looked like it hit his arm and went right into the glove, right? Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, right? Pedro Astacio with the Harvey highlight of the night. Look at it one more time, and there it is, right back to the box.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to write a script for that one, right?
Looked like he caught it on his forearm. I'll bet that was smarting for a while there.
Rub that
But look what I got.
That's right. We had some good catches this week.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Well, it is not unusual, as you two know, to see bees during the summer months, but hundreds of thousands of bees. It certainly happened to a family in Florida when bees made themselves at home in a 20-foot hive in a tree near their house. So who are you going to call? The bee busters. Experts use smoke to calm them down, and then they delicately brush them into a box and carry them off. These experts have nerves of steel. They say they do not worry about getting stung. I have a healthy respect for bees.
What is that they were spraying on them?
Some sort of smoke to keep them nice and calm. Wouldn't want them
delicately
to be
brush them into
gingerly.
Always. That's the way I handle bees. So the NightBEAT newsreel is coming up next.
And if you've got a hearty appetite for breakfast, we've got a story you can really sink your teeth into. We'll be right back.
The story of TWA Flight 800 was a powerful one. You know, in the news today, there's always pressure to be fast, and nobody beats Channel 3 to a story. But this story was one where accuracy, depth, and sensitivity were far more important. We understand that, and we're going to continue to cover this story with that in mind, because we value your trust.
Al Terzi on Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This is Connecticut's news station.
Hi, I'm Mika Brzezinski. Need something fun to do this weekend? Join us tomorrow morning on DayBREAK. We'll give you some ideas. Plus, we'll have the latest on TWA Flight 800. Join us for DayBREAK at 5:30 a.m. We hope to see you then.
On the next American Journal.
I couldn't roll over, I couldn't move, I couldn't walk.
A man's battle to lose weight becomes a blessing for others. After losing hundreds of pounds, he donates his excess skin to burn victims.
I feel good about everything.
Plus, what a week it's been. We'll give you the winners and losers of the week.
Ladies and gentlemen, these 7 ladies are the best in the world.
I'm Nancy Glass. Don't miss American Journal.
Weeknights at 7:30, right here on Channel 3.
The NightBEAT newsreel takes us tonight to the city of Mattoon, Illinois, where they're gearing up for Bagel Fest 96. And look at this. This year's event headed for the record books. They pulled out of the oven today what is said to be the world's largest edible bagel, 550 pounds. The bagel several feet in diameter, 2 feet high, a foot-wide hole in the middle. Bagel masters from Lenders said it took several days of tinkering with the recipe and temperature settings before they got it just right. And in fact, representatives from Guinness will be in Mattoon in the morning to test the town's claim.
And how are they going to toast it, though? Most people would drive right by a dead possum in the road, but not if you're an animal lover like Connie Potter. The Manchester woman who's trained as an animal rehabilitator found a tiny baby possum inside a dead possum's pouch. Now, she keeps it in a knit cap as a substitute for the mom's pouch, but for the first few weeks, she says she kept it inside her bra. She says it stayed pretty quiet and would squirm only when it was hungry or when it had to use the possum potty. You know how that goes.
Well, I don't know. I can imagine, and that'll do it for us. Eyewitness News NightBEAT is done. The DayBREAK will be on at 5:30. That's your first news and weather of the day.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
I want to think about that.
That was a very...